The Big 12 is up. Taking its place as the first media event of the college football season this week out in Dallas. Commissioner Brett Yormark spoke with the media on Tuesday and had some lofty expectations for the conference in 2025.
I fully expect the Big 12 to earn multiple college football playoff bids this year and to show once again that we can compete with anyone. Speaking of the CFP, we continue to believe the 5-11 model proposed by the Big 12 and the ACC is the right playoff format for college football. We want to earn it on the field. We do not need a professional model because we are not the NFL. We are college football, and we must act like it.
For college football, we must act like it. We welcome in CBS Sports college football writer Shehan Jeyarajah after an eventful day one out in Dallas, including Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark expecting the conference to earn multiple CFP bids this season and calling it the deepest football conference in America. I want to get your takeaways from Yormark's bold claims.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, I think that there's a little bit of trying to speak some stuff into reality. You look last year, the Big 12 was the only one of the major conferences not to earn multiple bids to the college football playoff. But I think when you look back at history, I mean, going back even to 2014, the Big 12 has been a league that has had many years where they have multiple teams in that range, whether it be in the top 12 or the top 16. I think back to 2014, of course, a very famous year with Baylor at number 5, TCU at number 6, and Kansas State at number 11. And this is a more likely and a more common scenario than what happened last year, where you only have one in the top 15. So look, obviously, Brett Yormark is trying to position the league the best way that he possibly can, but he also does have at least some history on his side.
That's fair, but okay, let's say that his claim of multiple CFP bids does track. Odds makers don't necessarily see it that way. Arizona State has the best odds at plus 440 to make the college football playoff. I wouldn't say that's a lock, but if you were to pick two schools you could see getting in, who would it be?
Yeah, well, I think that there's a bunch of teams that will have at least a chance heading into the end of the year, and that, I think, is what makes the Big 12 such a fun conference to cover. But the two that come to mind for me, you mentioned Arizona State. Last year, they exploded in the second half of the year with quarterback Sam Leavitt leading the way. They bring back as much production as almost anybody in college football in 2025. And in fact, it's kind of crazy looking at how much they bring back that they arrived as early as they did in 2024. The other team that comes to mind is Texas Tech. They've invested as much money as anybody in the country this year in the transfer portal to fill specific holes on the roster, especially in the trenches. They built up, I would argue, the best overall roster in the Big 12 in 2025, and they're a team that should be able to bulldoze their way on both sides of the ball to at least give themselves a chance to be there at the end of the year.
Okay, well, speaking of Texas Tech, and you saying they built the best overall roster in the Big 12, well, the Red Raiders, they didn't shy away from utilizing NIL to bolster their lineup and compete in the Big 12. Head coach Joey McGuire detailed his expectations for his team after going all in on top talent. Take a listen.
It's been a fun offseason. We were really aggressive whenever it came to the portal and meeting some of our needs for the football team. I've been really proud of those guys for, I always look at what's the feel in the locker room culturally, the standard that we practice at, but then other things like this is the third semester in a row that we've had a 3.0 or better as a GPA. And we brought in all those new guys. A lot of them have already graduated from college, but are still taking 12 hours, and we're able to do that in the classroom. I know there's a lot of expectations on the team. We look at it as opportunities. Jack Richards, a good friend of mine, went to Texas Tech. Son played at Texas Tech, and he sent me that text. He says, expectation or opportunities, it's all perspective. And we look at it that we have a great opportunity. I think this conference is really strong. There's a lot of teams that have some big opportunities this year to really make a statement, and we're planning on being one of them.
Okay, planning on being one of those to make a statement. He talked about a lot of expectations or opportunities, however you want to put it. But Shehan, what's your feelings about this program just heading into this season, asserting themselves as one of the premier spending teams in college football?
Yeah, well, I had the opportunity to make a trip out to Lubbock a couple weeks ago, and make sure to check out my story on it at cbssports.com. But, it's really incredible what they've attempted to do in a very short period of time. And it's not just a story of resource, it's also a story of preparation. Back in July 2024, their lead donor, Cody Campbell, brought together some of the top leaders of the football program and said, we need to be prepared when the portal opens because we don't know how long this free market is going to last. And you got to be ready to pounce when it does. They did, and they bring in, of course, the #2 transfer class in the country, the best transfer portal class in the country, I would argue, with 5 players in the top 50 transfers overall, all in the trenches. And look, this is a team that embraces the fact that they have high expectations. They know that this might be a one-year window to maximize what they have. And so, again, I talked to Joey McGuire, I talked to their athletic director, their general manager, players around their roster. They completely understand that all eyes are on them, and they wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely, and hoping that maybe all of these dollars spent can convert to wins this season. Like you said, it very well could be a one-year window. Things still yet to be seen with Texas Tech, but we can also say the same thing for BYU, but in a completely different regard. Their quarterback situation remaining unsolved, with quarterback Jake Retzlaff looking to transfer to another program instead of adhering to BYU's 7-game suspension for violating the school's honor code. But here's what Cougars head coach Kalani Sitake had to say about the situation.
Coach, just to be clear, you don't anticipate Jake being a part of the program going forward. Is that correct?
I think right now, first of all, I love Jake Retzlaff. We love Jake Retzlaff and appreciate all that he's done for our program. I think it would be inappropriate for me to make a statement in his situation first. I think that's his right. I think it's a private matter that he can speak for himself, and I'm going to give him the opportunity to do that.
Okay. So with that being said, I want to get the state of BYU in your mind, with their QB still kind of in sort of like a holding pattern, I think is fair to say.
Yeah, we got a chance to talk to Coach Sitake earlier today over at CBS. And, for us, he did not want to say that Jake Retzlaff will not be a part of the program, but there's a sort of tacit acknowledgement that he won't be. We got a chance to talk about some of the quarterbacks who might compete for the job. McKay Hillstead, a former Utah State transfer, Trayshawn Bourget, a former Western Michigan transfer, but neither of those two players played any snaps in 2024 as they kind of competed for third-string snaps. So this is, I think, a big deal for a team that expected to be one of the top contenders in the Big 12 in 2025. Jake Retzlaff wasn't necessarily an all-conference type of quarterback, but he was very important to what BYU did on the offensive side of the ball, with his ability to go downfield and also with his legs as well being a major weapon for this team. If he is ultimately not able to return to the team, which does seem likely, it changes a lot, I think, about how you have to view this offense. And ultimately, their defense is the thing that will carry them to being a true contender. But to win the league, they need a little bit more offense than what those other guys can give them.
Absolutely. And still, like I mentioned, yet to be seen. We'll see how things play out for them over there. But nonetheless, Shehan, we appreciate you stopping by with the insight from Dallas. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Now taking a look at the odds to win the Big 12. You can check these out on FanDuel. Kansas State and Utah currently co-favorites, sitting at +600. They're followed by Baylor, Texas Tech, and Arizona State at +650, followed by TCU, then Iowa State, rounding out the top 6 at +1,000 odds.